Tell us your darkest thought.
My darkest thoughts are that humans will eventually be replaced by robots.
Yo, what is going on? Thank you so much for joining in. So I never thought I was going to make a video like this, but it has to be done. So there are a few booktubers out there that are simply not being truthful with you and are trying to rig this system. And they must be stopped at all costs.
What? What the fuck?
Here, let me show you something real quick, okay? So I was scrolling through YouTube and I came across these 3 thumbnails that looked very interesting to me, but for all the wrong reasons. This all looks like typical booktube content in terms of, top 10s and books coming up here in the near future, but there's something just strange about these 3 in particular. The thumbnails, they all look pretty much the same here in terms of the background and also the format in terms of where the person is expressing some sort of emotion. And the text in the thumbnails, they all look a little bit off for whatever reason. Also, their names, they're all pretty much the same or very similar to each other. So something quite is not right here, right? I mean, their names might all be Q&A with Bobby Joe, but maybe it should be Q&A with chat-gpt, perhaps? But wait, it gets worse than this. So if you're ready to dive into these bot booktubers and see how else AI is impacting the book industry, let's dive into it. So before we can dive into these bot booktubers, let's see how else AI is impacting the book industry today. Generative text engines and AI image generation seems to have taken the world by storm the past year or so, touching almost every industry it can get its little grubby robot hands on. The book and publishing industry is no exception, with AI hitting us from multiple angles and even booktubers somehow. Writers have access to several new tools, even tools embedded within their own text editing platforms that helps them spark new ideas, brainstorm faster, streamline editing, all in the hopes to get those books out the door faster. I mean, brainstorming can be transformed from a little rain cloud to a Cat 5 hurricane. So overall, AI tools can really help writers get over writing slumps, get words onto a page, so it all sounds really good, right?
Wrong!
Well, there are a ton of benefits for these AI tools to be used by writers. There's always going to be some people out there that are going to use these same AI tools in the hope to make a quick buck off of you. And the first example that comes to mind for me in terms of when I first saw it outwardly in terms of dividing the book community was when Christopher Paolini's Fractal Noise was released, and it was found that the image used for the book cover was generated using AI tools. Some people were very angry. Angry with Paolini or angry with the publisher. Some people didn't care, while some people didn't even understand. This was in late December of 2022, so AI generated images and other AI generated content was still somewhat pretty new to a lot of people. So a lot of people had no idea of this new wave that was incoming in terms of new generated content by AI tools. Obviously, this presented some ethical dilemmas in terms of who owns the art, the source material used to generate that art, and most of all, not supporting a human artist. And this is just one AI example of art being used for a book cover. And as we know, AI generation tools go way beyond just images, where people are now trying to write entire novels online through just AI tools and then sell on Amazon or other print-on-demand providers. Instead of slaving away for years, crafting a story, building a world, word by word, pouring their soul into page after page, people are turning to chat-gpt to quickly spit out books at a rapid pace. One example comes to mind is from an author named Amar Reshi, who in a couple of days used chat-gpt and an image generator tool named Midjourney to create a 30-page kids book that is sold online today through Amazon. Afterwards, Reshi tells us that anyone can use these tools. It's easily and readily accessible, and it's not hard to use either. To Reshi, this was simply an experiment to see the power and the scope of these AI tools, to see if a full-on book can be published using strictly these tools. And as you can see, it's on Amazon today, so obviously that experiment is working and also has some sales as well. And overall, the reviews are pretty mixed, mainly because of the AI origins used to create the book. What is interesting is that Reshi also included chat-gpt as an author in the book that you can see online in terms of the co-author. And this is just one one example out of the probable thousands loaded into Amazon now in terms of chat-gpt being listed as an author, whereas there's probably thousands and thousands more where chat-gpt isn't mentioned once in the book's description. One more example of AI being used in the book space before we talk about these bot booktubers comes from a recent development that I saw happen before my very eyes just a couple weeks ago. And this is coming from an indie author named Corey Ratliff, who unveiled a new set of covers for his fantasy series named the Almeranian Chronicles, where people were really digging the new look of these books. Well, Ratliff found out that these new dragon images put on his covers were actually made through AI-generated tools, even though he paid for the images. With that newfound knowledge, Ratliff decided to pull the images and not support the use of AI-generated tools. What this shows, though, is that it's getting harder and harder to distance yourself from AI, with it becoming more and more difficult to detect. What is great, though, about the situation is that an artist named Shelley Campbell reached out to Ratliff saying that she would be happy to draw up some new dragon images for Corey to use for his books at no cost. And dang man, these new covers look absolutely stunning. And overall, we got an upgrade for Ratliff while highlighting the actual use of the human imagination. So this is all from the writing and publishing side of the book industry. So let's get to what you clicked on this video for. Bot booktubers. I really did not think booktubers, or really any YouTubers for that matter, would be impacted that much by AI generating tools until I saw a video on Kwebbelkop, who is a YouTuber who is strictly using AI now to generate all his content for his channel through the use of an AI avatar that is slowly growing and growing in terms of the technical scope. And it's a bit bizarre, to say the least.
I mean, I can be cringe sometimes, so does that make me human? Am I finally a human? There's no...
This is not even the final form of the AI avatar, or we released a video a little later on that had a much more realistic AI avatar that's a little bit more difficult to even spot that it's being generated by AI.
One and only goal is to entertain as many people as possible, to share my joy with the world, and to form new friendships.
The technology here is rapidly evolving, and it's only going to continue down that path. So yeah, AI avatars and AI content generation are for sure a thing, but booktubers too? When I saw these 3 videos pop up on my feed, I knew something amiss was going on here. So let's quickly dive into one of these videos from Landon Lopez. He's going to talk about his top 10 underrated books to add to your reading list. So let's see what this video is all about.
What are the top 10 underrated books to add to your reading list?
Okay.
Discovering underrated books can be like finding hidden treasures.
It's going to be like
Among
that,
my
huh?
top 10, there's...
So as you can see, we have a block of text here, really a script that this AI-generated voice is just reading through. And most likely he's just going to read that entire script and then the video is over, meaning that whole minute is just reading whatever here is on the screen in terms of this wall of text. So if we look at this profile a little bit more, as you can see, Q&A by Landon Lopez. I mean, they already have 154 subscribers. It has a profile picture as well. I mean, it's looking pretty legit. We also have a description here for the video too. Q&A by Landon Lopez has over 14,000 videos. 14,000, so that is a lot of videos. And you can probably see why right here. We have a video being spit out. Looks like 3 videos almost an hour, which is absolutely absurd. So yeah, what's crazy is that Landon Lopez also has over 100,000 views since coming into YouTube since October of last year. I mean, that's kind of when the whole AI thing became more prevalent, is around, late of last year. So coincidence? I think not. And again, going back to the video itself, right? There's not too much going on here with the actual video. We have a wall of text. We have a guy that's going like this. I mean, granted, there are books here in this list. So the first one, this video is supposed to be the top 10 underrated books to add to your list. I personally have not heard of The Master and Margarita, so maybe this is underrated. So let's go check it out on Goodreads. So it's definitely a real book. And looking at it, it has over 330,000 ratings, 20,000 reviews. So underrated? I think there's a lot of ratings here, so I'm not sure if that actually applies here. But maybe it's underrated to me because I haven't read it yet. And going back to the original 3 videos that I saw, the next one was by Q&A with Zoe. And that was the top 10 sci-fi and fantasy books to look forward to in 2024. As you can see, the thumbnail looks exactly the same as our Q&A with Landon Lopez. right? It has 7 views, and probably the majority of those are me, to be honest. 10 books to look forward to in 2024. So this actually could be, useful content if there's good stuff in here in under a minute. So let's click on it just to see.
What are the top 10 sci-fi and fantasy books to look forward to in 2024? The literary landscape of 2024 is brimming with exciting sci-fi and fantasy releases.
All right.
From the
problem, there's no books. There's no books in this wall of text here to actually, look up and be on the lookout for. It's empty. It's empty of books. So what are the top 10 books to look forward to? Well, Zoe doesn't know either. And looking at this profile, just like we did for Landon Lopez, this profile has 162 subscribers, which is a pretty good amount here, right? Looking at the description, it's pretty similar to what the wall of text here is in the video as well. And if we go look at Q&A with Zoe's profile, we have a pretty realistic looking image here to use as like your profile photo. 15,000 videos, which is absurd. As you can see, just like with Landon Lopez, we have videos being uploaded 4 or 5 an hour, which is just insane to think about. And close to 100,000 views, just like Landon Lopez as well. But as you can see, we have another video here, 2 weeks ago, the top sci-fi books in 2023 so far. So this could be actually an interesting video.
What are the top sci-fi and fantasy books of 2023 so far? Discovering the best sci-fi and fantasy books of 2023 is a thrilling journey for genre.
No. There's no books in this one either. So obviously the content here, the question that's asked in the actual title of the video is not being answered. So for me, that's going to be a dislike. The video, granted it does have a background. It has a person going, huh? And we have some background music to the video as well. And we have this wall of text with a female sounding voice that's being generated here as well. But we're not answering the question in the title. So overall, this is just a nonsense video that's just going to waste your time. And going back to our boy Landon Lopez real quick, we have another video by him where we're going to look at some underrated fantasy books for avid readers that came out just 2 weeks ago. So hopefully we get some good content out of this.
What are
one
some
too.
underrated fantasy books
So
for
let's
avid
see.
readers? Looking for something new in the realm of fantasy?
Another example of shit. It's just crap. There is nothing here to actually gain out of this. This is just nonsense videos just being uploaded for no reason at all. What's the point here? Landon Lopez, what is going on? So I think we actually had a third account that I want to look at as well. Let me see what that is. All right, the third account that I was looking at is by this Ask Answer by Joseph Mitchell. At least this guy's profile name is a little bit different from the past two. It's not Q&A with Bobby Joe. We got Joseph Mitchell here, where we're going to ask and we're going to get some answers hopefully. So what are the top 10 sci-fi books published in 2022? I'm not sure. So let's find out what we got here by Joseph.
What are the top 10 sci-fi books published in 2022?
Same video feel.
Discovering the top 10 science fiction books of 2022
we have some books
offers
here.
a thrilling journey into imaginative
All right.
realms.
And I know one of these books too. Leviathan Falls, Project Hail Mary. This one is a little bit closer to hitting the mark, but still, it's crap. So Ask Answer by Joseph Mitchell actually has more subscribers than the other two profiles with 234 subscribers. And looking at his account, same type of feeling here in terms of the same thumbnail look, the same thumbnail format. But which guy here is Joseph Mitchell? We have a few different people here. So again, another account that has 14,000 videos and over 114,000 views. So people are obviously clicking these videos, onesie twosies per video. And the last video, as I'm recording this right now, came out 7 minutes ago. The one before that, 26 minutes ago. One before that, 40 minutes ago. So, this is just a load of crap. And as you can see here, these three channels aren't necessarily BookTube channels. They're everything channels. There is content being pushed out of these three accounts almost every 15 minutes, which is just absolutely absurd. There's just random content being pushed out here by these three profiles in terms of them going down a particular rabbit hole and then focusing on that rabbit hole for a little bit in terms of pushing video after video after video out on that particular topic, including books. These are just three examples that I personally found while scrolling through YouTube, so there's no telling how many similar profiles are out there spewing this load of crap. There must be some sort of scripting action going on here in terms of a particular topic being sent to chat-gpt or something similar, where that script is generated, then sent to a voice generating tool, or that audio file is then sent to a video editing tool, or then that is sent to another tool that combines it all together, then is uploaded automatically to YouTube in the hopes to get you to click on it endlessly looping video after video, endlessly looping video after video, endlessly looping video after video. I mean, it is quite impressive that somebody stringed all these tools together to get this endless loop going. It's just minimal soulless work for a massive amount of empty content. This empty content is reciprocated in the overall low subscriber count, even though they have a massive catalog of videos to click through. So what are the people setting up these bots hoping to gain out of these accounts? Most likely it's monetary, but as long as we don't view these AI generated videos and feed into their model, the bots will not take over. Support humans whenever you can, especially the great content that you love watching here on YouTube. And you can support me by potentially subscribing and liking this video. I'm human, trust me. And if you don't want to support me, that is completely fine. At least go support one of these booktubers over here. So what are your thoughts on AI-generated YouTube content? Would you read a book that's completely generated by AI? And that's all I have for you today. And for stopping by, you've earned 1 XP token. And if you're already a subscriber, you get an extra XP token. So here you go. Have a good one. Keep reading. Peace.